Alright, 6 o'clock, I'm gonna start the meeting. Review and approve minutes from May 17th. Meeting, which I reviewed them. I didn't have any problems. Need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of May 17th, 2023.
I'll second them.
Okay, any more discussion on minutes? That meeting? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, minutes are approved. Adjustments to the agenda. We did have a few little adjustments, right? We need to talk about the Powder Spring driveway.
Yep.
On the agenda.
Where do you want that?
It's a good question.
Let's do that front and center.
Okay, front and center. So,
Make a request too?
and Mike's wants a request
Is it possible to move, I'm looking for the signature on
that form,
the
the,
letter of support, yeah, because I've got more grant work than
so then, you guys will be able to that second?
Move that? No, sounds great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anything else? Oh, one thing, I wanted to congratulate BMU girls and boys champions. So, that's pretty exciting.
Great.
Special congratulations to Carrie.
Absolutely, cause she's,
Coaching to a state championship, so.
and all the hard work with the kids.
Exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the driveway. Which I can't even remember that property's the name. Okay, 130, yeah, I got that, yep. 130, which we discussed in a meeting. I guess we need what you have, Carrie and Lisa, on what we talked about.
I
That's
checked
what we,
it. That's all that we
okay,
saw on the video.
So, you know, went back and forth with Shane and you guys. You weren't at both those October meetings. You were traveling, I believe, because it was just these two.
Okay.
And,
yeah,
basically was approved, and then you thought to run it by Gavin, and Zach said he would
Yeah.
call and email Gavin, and
I
no
believe-
motions or anything were made, but you
Yeah.
both approved, Shane moving forward, and we're gonna get just confirmation from Gavin because of the right-of-way, whether it's the right-of-way needed something written up.
Okay. Yeah, I believe I emailed them, but never got a response on it, so I can go, I didn't go back and check my emails yet, but I can go back through and just see if there's any other correspondence there. But as far as I knew, we'd
and
just approved it.
we've talked
so.
about this in great detail and so on and so forth, the zoning administrator and with
Yeah.
everybody involved in this project and curb cuts and everything else, and there were no curb cuts because the curb cut's already there for an existing driveway. It's a branch off to go around the existing landowner to get to that piece of
And it was
property.
all fine, washing electric pole, that was fine.
Correct. So as far as a
So I guess the
select
question,
board standpoint on my,
I guess the question is what documentation is needed to.
right, what do you
finalize
actually
this
need
to-
for that? I don't know
Yeah.
that there's anything needed for that. There's no new curb cut, there's already the driveway there.
I mean, would it help to just have a letter from us that just says,
The select board signs
the
off on
select
it.
board approved?
I don't even know that we need to though. Why,
Yeah.
I'm not,
Well, I would ask you what you were looking for, 'cause
Well, I don't know if you can do a driveway permit or something like that,
but it's not a,
it's already there.
yeah, it's not a new driveway like a curb cut for a new driveway off of a town road. The access is already there. It's actually,
yeah, it's already the
A
same,
branch.
coming in onto Powder Spring, instead of going up, it's going around.
right.
Was there a permit? I mean, I think there was, Shane had submitted a permit,
No?
Did we?
He had talked with the state and this and that and the river and everything else to make sure that wasn't gonna be a problem. It really was a land dispute about whose
Yeah,
driveway to
yeah,
go
right.
through to get to the piece of property is what it ended up being. So,
It prevented a landlocked
right, correct. So, I don't honestly know what more we need to do other than it's so hard to get Gavin to respond to any of our
It's not-
stuff, so.
And, I mean, honestly, there was no real change to right-of-way easements or otherwise than what was already there for the
Right.
existing driveway, other than it was change in how that property was accessed by that driveway.
Correct.
So, I mean, I don't,
Instead of cutting through the corner of the neighbor's driveway or land, it just goes around and stays on their own property in order to access the piece of property.
Well, if you guys would approve it, that would be huge.
So,
so, I mean, I guess that's the question, I mean, if we approve it, is that what will meet the requirements to move forward with? Cause this is all something that's part of a sale, right? I mean, sale of a
I
property.
mean, I think as far as the town of Groton's municipality is concerned, the zoning administrator looked at it and everything was done to his specifications. Highway foreman looked at it, the road commissioner looked at it, and everything was done to their specifications. In a situation like that, the select board does defer to those departments. That being their specialty, not ours, you know? So I think if those two departments are satisfied by default, we usually are satisfied.
but I don't know that we wanna sign our name on something that we don't know what we're signing our name on, I think is what it all comes back to, is liability of the town. So we're saying it's okay that what was done, but what, you know, what do we gotta sign off on?
No, I mean, I don't know, I mean, if it's, again, it kinda comes back to,
Well, you did give permission for
We
them to
did.
install the driveway.
Yep, we did.
Could that just go on record?
It
Yes,
is in the
absolutely.
minutes already.
yeah, I think it's in the
And
minutes.
yeah,
already,
we did give permission for the driveway to be put in, the way that it's put in.
Okay.
But I
So,
mean, again, we
I
did
guess
that
as
as
far
part of
as
the
that-
minutes of the, but again, we did that as part of minutes, I mean, there was no other document written.
Is
Right.
there any minutes I could take with me, or?
I don't know.
They're on the
what-
town site.
What was in the minutes, are we clear, did we?
I only
I-
watched the video, I
I'll
didn't.
have to look, I
Yeah.
didn't read the minutes, but these
It's
minutes can
October
say.
19.
We have minutes now tonight.
Right, so,
Yeah.
so as the board, as far as I'm concerned, we approve the driveway that was installed to that residence.
Okay.
Yep. And that will make it into this set of minutes.
Okay, it'll be in the minutes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wonderful,
okay,
thank you.
thank you. Okay,
Might got a letter in
Next.
there.
Mike,
Yeah, so you should have a letter of support.
yes, we do, right here.
For this USDA Community Connect grant. We're full bore ahead on that. Deadline is this Tuesday at noon, or 11:59 a.m. The footprint's expanded. It's gonna be West Groton up to New Discovery. Now it's running behind Powder Springs all the way down to South Rygate.
Okay.
Rural Edge has been terrific. Our community center is going to be the SASH space there. We've been working with the library, the Groton Library, and also the South Rygate Library. Now we're going to run our territory to the back door and equip them with computers and equipment there too. I don't know the exact number of the grant. I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere between $2 and $3 million right now in terms of the amount. Lots of support from people in this room with letters of support. I think we'll have, I'm guessing, around 30 or so that have come in from schools, from hospitals, from town officials, from Rygate as well now. Got about 113 people that have weighed in on the survey in the sort of impacted zone, which is probably at least half the people up there, at least half the households.
Okay.
And if you could sign that letter, that would be great. And it will get submitted as part of the application that gets submitted on Tuesday, and then we cross our fingers and hope for the best.
Okay, Did you guys get a chance to review the letter? Which I did review the letter also, so it looks fine to me, so I'm in favor of signing off on my behalf.
Yep, I think I am in it as well.
Okay,
No, I think that,
so yes, Mike. And I need to touch base with you at some time about a broadband and a new house, and if we could prepare like 500 feet away, like put conduit, something in to yeah, so I'll try to remember, I need to send you an email.
Get you just your letter.
All right,
There you go, Mike.
thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Take care.
That's the. Okay, next thing, hazard mitigation review.
So here it is.
And you got it all edited.
These are all my notes of mistakes. And, you know, the front cover, I think, could have an updated, I mean, you could do whatever, I just grabbed one off my computer,
I mean,
just
more importantly, get the address correct.
in the address.
as long as the address.
And that
is
fire station doesn't look like that in a
doesn't
long
even-
time.
No.
So, I don't know, this was, I mean, I,
So can we,
to a degree.
can we like review that, kinda like a policy somehow, and we can each come in and, or do we need to discuss it all? How do we need to
Does
go
it
about
have to go
that?
back to the planning commission to?
Well, I think you could say, you could look at it, look at what I've tagged, and those at least need to be changed, and whatever else you guys see. But
I saw it when I was going through it.
Do we have a committee for that?
it's right here.
Is it one of the hazard mitigation committee, wasn't there?
So I don't know, I would say, you know, maybe by next month, next
Yeah.
meeting, everyone can look at it and at least agree on these changes. Everything
Okay.
else looked, to my eye, as okay, but.
Which we have some time to look that over, so, which I can come in and look at it.
Yeah,
Can we keep it in a folder and I'll come in and review it? And,
I mean, some of it is, you know, they use, I'm sure, a template of another town, so that town's name is written instead of ours.
like Newport, you say?
City of Newport.
Which we get that, but you would think they could at least edit it so that
Yeah.
it would be right.
Yeah.
But anyways, what do you guys think? That's good, we'll keep it in a folder and
Yep,
get it,
and we can
We'll each-
finalize it at the next meeting, yeah,
okay,
based off the changes in there.
good. That sounds like an excellent idea.
Excellent idea.
Yeah,
So I'll have it on the agenda next meeting.
Yep,
Yeah.
perfect.
Great.
Collection tube, for lead sinkers, Rickers Pond location. What, I know we talked about that briefly, but,
So, I thought I had this in the folder, but, there's a big concern about balloons and lead, fishing tools.
yep,
So, this is the location and this is what it looks like. It's a collection tube that they want, they just want their blessing to put it at the end of Rickers, which is near the parking area.
perfect.
Oh.
Should just,
Is that our, I mean,
State
it
land.
is,
This
no,
is-
it is Groton. She
It is
talked to the
town?
state and it is town.
Oh, okay,
that pull-off parking area right there?
that's
Is
town?
town?
It's not there, it's in the water, and she's gonna put it at the end. I don't know, she talked to the state, here, read this. But she said.
Wherever,
Groton
as far as
has
we're
to-
concerned, it's
like
for a
this
good
little-
cause.
Little bowl.
Yeah, I know
it's
and
for a good
she-
cause.
She will clean it out,
And
and she said. it is
unfortunately,
wrong.
most people will probably misuse it, but that's,
Maybe it's closer to the railroad tracks, and I
Okay.
don't know.
I don't.
Maybe that
yeah.
section is ours, I don't know.
I mean, I get one, if they're gonna take care of it, that's fine.
It is, cause it's
Right,
not up to the, you know, where the gate is for the campground, the rest is Groton's.
Oh, but-
That
but it would be
railroad,
on Rickers if you're saying
But I was out
Rickers,
there
there's a little
Saturday and the
parking
guy
lot.
from the guy from the campground was down there picking up trash
oh,
all over that place.
oh, well, that's very nice, but.
Yeah,
I-
but it's, I mean,
I don't.
I mean, I guess it's fine if it's, I would like to see more education about it.
Where
Cause a
is-
lot, I mean, putting a tube out and saying, put your stuff in here, I mean,
Oh, well, it's all spelled
Yeah.
out there,
yeah,
and I
I mean,
think,
like,
She'll probably have a
and,
sign
and she's going to man it, Jessica Sachs she lives on Rickers.
Right.
And she's gonna man it, and she knows that
mean-
garbage will,
I don't know about the placement, as I think it's gonna get where those boulders, I mean, there's a sign there already, I think.
But it's not our concern, we're just giving her.
I can't remember where exactly she said, but
I mean,
there is a map.
fishing game puts information on the signage that's there.
Yeah.
That almost seemed like a better placement than in the middle of the pathway, cause I mean, you have, there's, you know, people walk between the boulders are there, so vehicles don't go back there, but.
Right.
Do you wanna check in with her on that, Zach?
I mean, I can, I guess.
What,
I don't have, I think the idea is
So
if
people
people are
can
walking
see it.
past it.
Right.
you
Is there
know,
a sign? I'm trying to think.
I mean,
I think there was a sign there.
she's putting
for
something together, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't have a problem with
sounds
it.
good with me.
Yeah, and I don't think
I-
Zach does, I think.
No, I fish there all the time.
Yeah.
All the
No,
time.
and that's why I'm saying,
And
Zach,
so-
if you wanna check in
Well,
with her
that's why, like,
figure out.
for me, it's more of, let's educate people on not, cause, you know, when I'm changing a lure, I end up with a pocket full of fishing line in my pocket from
Yeah.
changing lures or whatever. You know, if you know, this is great, it gives a place to put it, but education that kind of provides information to people about, you know, why this is important. And,
I can ask her if
you
there's
know,
more signage
honestly,
that's gonna be
you know,
on there.
I'm more in support of the leave no trace principles of take it, you know, pack it in, pack it out. You know, this, again, you know, I know she's gonna maintain it, but it presents some safety risks. What if somebody goes down there and has a needle and they stick a needle in there, and then, you know, that from a liability standpoint can be an issue. You know what I mean? If somebody puts a syringe in there and, you know, could potentially transmit a disease because of misuse, right? I mean, but I mean, and again, I'm not opposed to it. It's just
Yeah, I mean, I
making sure
think,
the proper safeties are in place for it.
I think me and Tristan are fine with it. If you have concerns, then I think if you wanna reach out
I
to
can reach
Jess
out to
and,
her,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, just
I'd
talk
like,
to
it'd be
her.
good to talk to her.
Yeah, yeah, but other than that, if you're done, if you're satisfied when you get done talking with her, then
Yeah.
that'll give her
Then
the
we're
green
okay
light.
with
Well,
it, that's fair.
Yeah,
I'll see if I can set something up to just go out there and talk to her about it.
yeah, Jess is pretty active.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, and she does the garden, so she's
Library and
around,
garden,
and,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I got her email.
You're in on
Okay,
that list.
good,
I'm on that list. Yeah.
Good.
okay.
I'll talk to her, cause I mean, I'm not against it. I think it just would be great to, if we're gonna do that, maybe we work with the road commissioner to get some signs ordered that are leave no trace or, you know, something along those lines too, for out there.
Which that's all fine, but people do what they do, and it doesn't matter how much advertising you do, sometimes it
No,
causes
yeah.
more of a ruckus than,
Yeah,
that's
I
all.
get that. Yeah, no, I get that.
Which, but I agree, you know, I
Put a
understand.
sign up there, gives them something else to throw on the lake.
Okay,
Yeah, anyway,
traffic highway summary review, so I looked at it.
I looked at it.
We talked about it, Carrie, but they don't really necessarily, I don't understand it all. I don't know that it's necessary to have it all explained to us or not. I don't know what the next step is. Zach,
So-
do you?
what I'll say is, I mean, I can submit this to the guy that pulled the application. You know, if he recognizes it as a traffic summary, which is what it is, which would be great. It's all about specifications within the speed limits. I mean, that's what we ran into when we did this a few years ago, and, you know, had that same argument with the speed study we did to change the speed limit at the west end of town on 302, but I don't know if this is gonna be enough people out of, you know, speeding out of a line, you know, to justify.
I
to
just
them
find it
going-
amazing, more and more towns I drive through now have these signs all
Yeah.
set up, and it seems like it can't be that difficult to get this.
Maybe they all started 10 years ago, and they're just showing up now.
I mean,
That's a good point.
you know, I don't know where other towns have in place, but if they don't have, you know, like US 302 being a state highway the way it is and being a US highway.
No, but
Presents its own
Burke, you
challenges.
know, 114, Route 5, I mean, it's like I constantly
Well, it's like,
keep
you know,
seeing this.
where we've got our 2 signs placed now, technically, I mean, you know, those are placed, we did that on our own, because
Right.
we can, it's not, you know, those are not state highways.
No, I know, but this is all about just trying to remind people, even I'm a fan of it, cause I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm
Yeah.
going too fast. You know what I mean? It's not to, it's just
No, you know,
a warning
Yeah.
system to let people know, hey, you're speeding,
I'm-
slow down.
I'm fully in support of moving them, I know realistically that the state is not a fan of putting them on the US highways, so. And that's, you know, I think that's the hurdle we've gotta get over, but.
Okay, so we can submit that, Zach, and,
I'll
Try.
see what I can do. You know, I think the big thing to note is on, what is this, page like 3 or 4 or something? That's where the speed limit stuff is. So the first couple of pages is just traffic,
At time of day.
time of day,
Right.
number of vehicles that hour, basically. What's interesting to note is, that 2-week period, I guess it's, see, they didn't split, the one thing is they didn't split it out, facing one direction versus facing the
no,
other
they didn't
direction.
do what they were gonna do. was-
So, I mean, when you're looking at speed compliance, it's really about 20% of of people driving by where those signs were going 34 miles an hour or more.
I think we need a
So-
study done on the other end, more importantly than what was done on that end, and I've already talked to Emil about, he said it would be fine to put the sign in
Yeah,
his lawn right there. I think that would be a great place to do a real study when people come into town right there.
I
Could
almost
we
think-
ask them to come
I
back? and-
almost think we put it here too, facing this, you know, catching traffic going out of town as well as into town. Because, I mean, into town, what I've noticed, and this is completely my observation, since we changed the speed limit, people are naturally slowing down up the hill before the barn where it kind of turns, as opposed to everybody coming up to where the speed limit changed previously. And then, you know, I can just tell you, based off the amount of air brakes I hear, it's improved coming into town.
Well, those are trucks.
But
Whoa, that's
Not just trucks, I'm talking
completely-
about watching people, but going out of town, people take off.
Okay.
You know,
So I don't know,
but
I'm
both,
just
but I
saying,
think
maybe
you're
we
right.
could have them come back and
Yeah.
try this and
I
make
can-
sure we get it right if we're gonna do this.
Yeah,
Cause they didn't really do what they said they were gonna do.
It's certainly not what we wanted.
Right. So maybe before we should submit it, we should try one more
at the other,
shot at this at the other end.
yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah, I'll get a hold of them, see if.
Which we're gonna need to get a hold of them anyways. Sure, we have another discussion about garbage and stuff, so we'll see where we go with that in a second anyway, so.
Yep,
How's that?
perfect. Yeah, so I mean, I think with this, I'll talk to them about doing, you know, talking to the sheriff about doing it at the other end of town. And if he can get us a report like this, we
Okay.
can submit both of them to the state and see what happens.
Cool.
I think all the other requirements are I mean, this is the major requirement, everything else is
Just
easy.
logistics of it. yeah.
Placement of signs, making sure that's right on the right signpost, that kind of stuff, which is all easy to do, so.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yep.
Highway discussion, John Deere quote for sweeper attachment, gravel, puffer field. That's good. And Harold is here. So that's even better.
Yeah.
Which you and I have had more discussion about sweeper and more discussion about the puffer field, and which looks fabulous, which came out great. You did a great job, and it was well worth it as far as I'm concerned for that.
The sweeper quote is in the folder.
Okay.
If you need to refer to it.
That's that.
Yeah, where? Is it under sweeper?
Congrats.
Okay.
Or Jay, for John Deere.
So anyways, while I'm looking for that, you can fill us in. I did ask more questions about that sweeper because I was a little concerned that we were gonna pay $5,000 for a sweeper, and then we need a new tractor, and it won't fit that tractor, and then are we really gonna use it when we get a sweeper, or are we just gonna use it one year and then be like, Well, it's really not that much fun, we don't wanna use that anymore. But Harold said that he's gonna use it, and it would be a good asset to the town. Fill me in, fill it.
Well, started out with Boulder Beach is paved.
Oh, and Boulder Beach is good.
They finished it Monday.
I saw they were, I drove out there, and looked like.
So we gotta do shoulders up there, so it's almost a mile each way. And when we do shoulders, we obviously drop gravel and rocks on the new pavement.
Then sweep it off.
And we can sweep it up without doing it by hand. That's a long ways to travel, sweeping the whole road by hand.
How many hours of work does it take to sweep a mile both ways? It's 2 miles technically if you do both shoulders.
But how many brooms?
No, I mean, I think the serious question is, it takes you, what, a day probably to do that, you and Philip, or more than that.
Well, it'll take longer than that. I mean, we'll be up there 2 days, so, I mean, it's spread out. Usually I sweep while he's gone to get another load.
Yeah. Well, I'm just, I'm saying, like, you're talking about, sweeping, and it takes, what, 8, 10, 12 hours to do that while you're doing shoulder work. And now you got something that can do that whole mile in what, an hour? Just in work.
So what it all comes down to is there's many uses, hopefully that will be handy for, as far as cleaning up the parking lot, doing this, Sean, for
Doing
you.
the sidewalks, if there's only like 2 inches of snow, the snow blower doesn't work. There isn't enough snow to shoot it. With the sweeper, you can actually just sweep it off. And it sweeps it right off.
So that's fine. I don't mind buying stuff that we're gonna use and it's worthwhile and it works out great and it saves a bunch of time and shit and that's great, so.
Like me and Tristan were talking, we have many short back gravel roads that we put our gravel on with blacktop in it that are perfectly fine. They don't need grading. There's just that much sand on top. We could actually windrow it up, pick it up, and
Put it back in the sand pit?
good. But, I mean, there's, intersections and, aprons off the intersections and.
So I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think as long as I've been on, we try to keep the parking lot swept out. I mean, should anyways, right? So it's something we need to do every year. My concern when we discussed it last meeting was that we have more than one thing to do with it.
Right.
And we do. And it's kind of the added benefit of running that tractor at least, 10 hours
The
during
only
the
one
summer.
thing that Harold said is he doesn't have a trailer to haul the tractor, but I have a trailer. I said you can just grab the trailer anytime you need, whatever. I can't see.
I can borrow Bo's trailer.
Bo's got a
Plenty of
trailer.
trailers around the
I
bar.
can't see we go buy a brand new tractor.
I know.
Brand new trailer to haul a tractor. It turns in one thing turns into another because the trailer's like $2,500 or $3,000.
Will the sweeper fit in the tractor guard?
Yes.
So-
Most likely during the summer, we'll keep it at the town garage.
So when they need it, they could just take it, which makes sense.
So at the last meeting, we didn't have a cost, right?
Right.
No, he's
So the quote that you got was $4,634 for the sweeper. And that includes all of the things needed
Attachments.
to go,
Power angle. And
Yeah, power
all
angle.
that.
Yep. So,
That's just box. That's not put together.
yep.
But I figure we can read directions and put it together for $600.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I guess I'll make a motion to approve the purchase, for $4,634, for the 52-inch quick hitch rotary broom attachment for our John Deere tractor. What account are we charging that to?
I would say,
Equipment.
Highway equipment
yeah,
reserve.
reserve.
Okay. From the highway equipment reserve.
Yep.
Second.
One of Tristan's concerns was, what happens when the tractor dies? They've got the same attachments with the newer versions of that tractor. So it limits us to a John Deere.
Well, it doesn't matter what you buy, it's gonna limit you to whatever that is, so.
But we bought that Salter a few years ago that has the John Deere quick attach. So basically we're gonna have stuff on both ends of it, we just have to replace the tractor.
Yep.
I mean, one thing with going with the John Deere too is there's a local
Dealer.
so if something goes wrong,
So all in favor, say aye.
like,
Aye.
Okay. That's approved.
So one other thing I got is I'm running a little behind on the roadside mowing bids.
Okay,
So for next meeting, I'd like to open bids, or, I don't know if I wanna say open bids. I'm gonna get a bid from Limlaw,
okay,
but I also want to price and see if I can get a rental unit from, what's that equipment place over in Morrison?
Pete's.
Pete's. They have 3 rental units.
Which we talked about that, we had a discussion about is renting one and doing our own stuff, which I thought was a good idea versus owning a tractor versus, and we could get more done and maybe, you know, if things are slow, get a couple times, you know, and work on that. The other thing is when you put out bids, do we advertise that? How do we come up with?
We usually put it in the paper.
Okay,
With Murdo, I usually just give him a call, tell him it's that time of year again.
okay. Well, I'd like to see more, like, there's more people who do this, so how come we don't see more people?
Well,
Like,
the problem is, we put it in the Bridge Week. I mean, that,
right, the one, the JO, the Bridge Weekly and,
Calvin
New York
Record.
Herald.
Yeah, put it in the Wall Street Journal.
I don't know, you know what I'm saying, it's like, well, you would think, okay, so we have Marketplace, we have all this fancy stuff, but we still put bids out in the local paper. Is there a better system? You know what I mean? Well, I'm just throwing it out there, I don't know.
I don't know either.
It just, we don't get much result, you know.
I would say
like,
email-
we had Pike for the bid for that, there's many other paving companies, so.
they don't even want to
Ask,
call you back.
ask the LCT if they've got any other recommendations. I mean, other than the paper, I think by law, we have to put it in the paper, but.
Right. All right, so
Isn't
for
there a
now,
policy on that?
Yes.
Bid policy, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't remember exactly what it says, but
it is, but it's based off of state statute, for sure, but I mean, again, I don't know if
I
that's.
thought it had like a list of,
Specific things that we have to do, yeah, but, I mean, are we allowed to put something like that out on Marketplace, or, you know, who then puts it out there, does, there's all kinds of other questions.
so I guess for the time being, do what we've done, we put it out in the paper, but look into renting a tractor, we'll do a comparison and see, and we'll go from there. I'm not trying to make it complicated, I'm just trying to make it so more people bid on things, that's what the idea of the system is,
the
but.
problem is, it's a tough time of year, because every town, every
Right.
state
I get
wants
it.
them all this time of year.
I get it.
You know, we used to have, trying to think of the names that used to mow for us every year. What?
Wilkin.
Wilkins. You know, the only time they can do it is September. They may be retired now too, but.
Alright.
So, I mean, I guess the other question is, do we need to bid out things like roadside mowing earlier in the year?
Usually I have it done by now.
Yeah.
I'm slacking a little bit.
Gotcha.
That's, yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So that sounds good.
That's all I got.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Harold. I can't remember if I had anything for you. I don't think so.
You sticking around for a little while?
Sure.
Okay.
I think.
I think you think?
Yeah.
Well, I wanna chat with you about something else, but I'm gonna bring it as part of the agenda then. Cause I know you were involved with something to do with that helicopter landing thing out. He's like, dang,
Okay.
I really need to talk about that again?
I'm not gonna be around.
Yeah, he's like, I'm leaving.
Okay, good. Treasurer, borrow. which-
Okay, so we're pretty low in funds.
Yep.
We need to borrow money. So I think what we've done in the last couple years is the easiest way to do it is borrow it from the CD that we have at TD Bank. It's the easiest, most efficient way, and we don't pay any interest. We just lose a little interest that we would have earned, but, so I'm recommending 100,000. We have a lot that's coming up. I'm paying, it's 35,000 in the folder, give or take a little bit. Gary's getting ready to purchase all the computers, and that's about 5,000. So just things are creeping up, and it's
Yep.
Usually, end of July, beginning of August, that I do this, so we're a little bit early, but, so, I would like that,
Okay.
And when do bills go out?
September first.
Which, just a second too, Harold, because we had discussion about that, but that's gonna be all set with the paving, they're holding off to build.
That's my next thing.
Oh, okay, you have,
Yeah.
okay, you already,
That's my next
okay,
thing,
good,
so I don't know if a motion needs to be,
okay.
to do this or not, but.
I think we
Before,
usually
we
do.
had the ARPA money in the account, we just went into
Yeah.
that, so we
Yeah.
didn't actually borrow from anything.
Yeah.
Now that the ARPA money's in its own bank account.
Right, okay.
I will make a motion to borrow $100,000 from the TD Bank CD to cover expenses.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, great, thank you. And then the next portion is for the, since Boulder Beach is so quick and all done, I'm gonna be getting that bill pretty soon.
We're not, right?
Not till after July 1st.
All right, well, I'm still worried because our next meeting is what,
Right.
July 5th, so I'm still
Right.
thinking,
But, yeah.
the 12th, okay. So, it's still a conversation that I
Yeah.
want.
No, I get it, I just was making sure, because I remember the discussion on that.
Right.
But you're already on it, so.
So, so the bill will be $143,000 to pay that. We have $64,680 in paving. So I'm recommending take $64,000 out of the reserves, and that will leave $680 in there. And then the highway equipment fund, borrow $79 to make up the difference.
Okay.
And then get that all submitted, paid, and then Harold will submit
We'll get
his.
reimbursed
Get
for the
reimbursed.
grant.
You know,
And then all that'll go right back into those.
yes,
There.
yeah. So that's,
So that 60, whatever you said, thousand, that obviously doesn't include this year's.
no,
No.
no.
Right.
That sound good to you, Harold? Yeah?
I'm fine with it.
We gotta pay it.
As long as we get reimbursed correctly.
But just remember, we got another big bill coming up too, with that box culvert.
Yeah.
Yeah, how soon is that?
I called Daryl, he hasn't called me
All
back.
right, don't push it. Really, wait till fall or maybe next spring.
Well, it's gonna just.
So in there, in the folder is the Pike contract that you need to sign.
I saw, yeah, I didn't sign it because I want to make sure we,
Yeah.
which I thought we, well, we
You
signed
approved it, you approved the price
Okay,
and made him do the work, but now you need to sign the contract.
okay.
So that's in the folder. So,
Okay.
Zach, at some point, we've got to get together and work on
I
the
was supposed
closeout.
to come by on Monday and I forgot, so I'll
That's
come by.
fine.
I'll come by
Just-
tomorrow morning.
Okay.
What time are you in the office, 7:30?
Yeah,
I'll come by tomorrow morning before I go to work,
Thursday, okay?
and we'll get that squared away.
And I've been working with the town auditors. They have been sending me they're all done, and they've sent me a draft. And we've been going back and forth on different topics. So I am reviewing everything, and I'll have it in the folder for you guys to comment on. I did attend a webinar for our IMED, the portal, and how to, for anybody that wants to get on the IMED portal. It's just the employees, just wanted to tell you.
Okay.
And the VLCT, the policies that we've been working on, I went over them with everybody, and I reviewed them with VLCT. She sent me additional ones. There's some changes. Just how we're wording a few things, and so I'm going to start updating them, and then you guys can review them in the folder and then approve them. Maybe by the next meeting, I'll put it on the list.
Okay.
And I just wanna, hope that you guys will still keep coming in to sign during these weeks when the folder gets so big. It will be like this next month,
Aaron,
too.
here, your name is missing everywhere.
So, that would, I think,
And what about the policy, what,
Town personnel policy.
Town
Yeah.
personnel, which Zach and I, but you didn't get a chance to come in, or you did come in?
I didn't go over heavy, but
Okay,
yeah.
did you wanna look at that?
Yes,
Is
no,
that the
no.
employee handbook policies and stuff?
Yeah,
Is that
what we
what-
went over,
Yeah, the
yeah.
one,
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I was in the other day, talked with them about
Okay,
it,
so
so I
should we
think, I
post-
think it's good to go.
Okay, I will write it up with all
Yeah,
the
it won't be ready
adjustments,
till next time.
and then it'll be the
Yeah.
next
Okay.
meeting that you approve, but I'm hoping to have it done and have it in the folder for you guys to read,
Yeah.
okay?
Does it make sense to share that with, I mean, with the
Yeah,
employees
yeah, I mean,
prior to
I
us
think you
meeting?
guys need to talk to Highway.
Yeah,
I was thinking of getting all the
Yep.
words, the way that they've changed
Yep.
and updated, and then bring it to Highway, and then
Yep.
they can review.
Yep.
You know, it's gonna go back and forth,
yeah, that's fine,
you
yep.
know. And I think that is it for treasurer.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
So clerk, animal, Walmart.
I left that there for you, the warrant.
Well,
Tristan,
warrant.
I gave it to you.
Okay.
So that's the thing that you have to have, you know, after May 31st, since it's our first meeting. Has to be signed, and then Mark can have a copy, and the animal control person will get a copy.
Okay, and then what are we gonna do? So now we,
So then I have letters
Need
going
some.
to those, I think it's 28 people.
okay,
It's not bad. Last year, this time, we were
328.
something like that.
no, we're,
Yeah, it's definitely less.
we're not, we're on this year,
This is good.
this is no more, and we're gonna, continue.
So that you all need to sign.
That's
Good, thank
amazing.
you.
And then we have, the Rygate Recycling Center.
Yeah, oh, yes, sorry.
So they have some new rates for their pricing.
Which I talked to
Andy Smith.
Andy Smith, and you were here on a conference call, cause he called me about they're losing money, is pretty much, they're not charging enough money at the thing.
And people from out of the two towns are coming, so
So-
they're printing stickers that's gonna go out in their tax bills and ours.
Great.
And give each person a sticker or card to show
People are
that they
coming
are a
from New
Groton
Hampshire
Rygate
and-
person.
Stuff that don't belong. So in order to make it so that
Well,
they're
I'd
gonna
say
charge
Start
people.
with people that have out-of-town parking space, or license plates, but,
Yeah, so if you're a taxpayer, you get a sticker,
yep.
and
Yeah.
if you don't, you're gonna have to buy a sticker.
Yeah.
So,
So at
'cause
least
like
make some money from those people who don't live here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Our two towns are paying.
people come from Newbury because they have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So, so,
And people come from New Hampshire because they have to pay.
correct. So that's,
I see them down there.
so we
It's
talked,
Saturday
yeah,
morning.
so
So, yeah, Tristan.
what do we
agreed
need
it
to
was a
do with
good
that?
idea. Nothing. This is
Okay.
just the new rates, and she already called me to ask how many tax bills we send out, so I told her that.
Okay,
So
good.
they're working on getting the stickers.
Here's the new rates.
I gave them all a copy.
Oh, oh, okay, everybody.
I got it.
Okay.
We're on it.
We're on it.
First
Okay.
time for everything.
So then we got a letter from the Caledonia County Sheriff's Department that they have, yeah, I gave you guys each a copy of that too. So they seem to have a little more staff, they're willing to do some extended hours and some weekend stuff without charging that extra fee.
Good?
They also,
Oh no, they still are charging the fee, but they're able to do it.
so we should talk to him because I think, when he was here, talked to us last year, he was looking for somebody to be in the town.
Which
that
they
resides
have
in the
somebody.
town. They do, Michael Jolly.
So it should save us money because he's already here.
But he's on probation still and all that
Oh.
stuff, so he's not on his own yet, I guess, but anyway, something to.
We've
Instead
got
of
a
parking
car.
his car at his house, he should park it here in the parking lot.
You know what, we'll give him free parking for his personal vehicle.
And free
Here.
Wi-Fi.
And free, well, I think they all know that. I'm pretty sure every law enforcement in the state knows we've got free
So if we
Wi-Fi.
want, we can, or I can email them and say, add a few little patrols.
Which is fine, have the same problem with them, is they don't move around, the car is always
They
sitting
have
here.
been though.
I saw him this
They
week.
come out of Mill
Okay.
Street.
Okay, I
I
just
talked to the
always
one
see
guy a
them.
few weeks ago and, you know, remind him of some of the loops. I
Okay.
don't know. I mean, yeah, they certainly,
One
Right
more
here.
thing that has to do with that, which has nothing to do with anything, but since Harold is here, we talked about the end of that culvert where the cone is on Fairpoint, cause Fairpoint, and the reason why this brought this up is cause the sheriff says park there and it messes them up. So anyways, is there anything we could, like a steel plate that we could put over that so somebody, it has a cone on it, but if a kid or something, can we put something over that to protect it?
Where are they?
So,
right across
when
here.
we went across the road,
There's a cone right there.
there's a sinkhole 3.5 feet deep and it has a cone on it, but it really should have something. So we're gonna hook into it with the infrastructure project and the whole thing, but
Is that where we had
It's
the
that
back
pipe that runs across 302 that,
Is that what we put in ahead of this?
so it washed out the end of it.
Yeah,
but we don't wanna fill it in, cause then we know exactly where it is and they're gonna hook onto it for the drainage
Right,
project.
right, I know
So,
that, yeah.
but I just, there was a concern that it's like 3.5 feet deep. And that's all. Do we have like a plate or something?
I think we've used everything we had.
I probably have a plate in the shop that could go over that. I would rather see something.
Let me see what I can find.
Okay, even if it's a plywood, I mean, something.
I'm just worried about plywood, because you put one piece of plywood there,
I know,
and someone drives over it, and the car sings out of sight.
I know. Well, I think the cone should still stay there, but it should have something under the cone that a kid doesn't pick the cone up and then somebody falls in the hole. That's all I'm concerned about. That's all.
I can, when I talk to the sheriff, or when I get a hold of him for the speed signs, I might talk to him a little bit about this too, and it wouldn't hurt, I mean, I don't know if they're doing that.
Email right there, so you
Yeah,
can email.
are they going down, I mean, do they go,
Railroad and,
yeah, down towards the old stump dump and turn around and
That's
stuff
where we
like that?
told
That's what we told them.
I mean, after the incident that happened down there in
Right.
May, I mean, they should be doing that, right? And then, I mean, it wouldn't hurt, I mean, I know it costs a little bit more money, but every once in a while to be down that
Yeah.
way on a weekend or after 5:30, cause, you know,
I think so too.
which while we're on that subject, should we cover the sheriff's department? But it's still your thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, go ahead then. I'm just trying to think about
Almost
everything.
done. We got the broadband for that cabinet, they got a right-of-way easement from, the solar people.
Okay,
Build that, have the little plan and everything, I know we've had one, but this is the latest one. So
Okay.
that looks like that is all moving ahead, I think they were waiting on that easement, so, I don't know, it's just that.
okay, good.
And I think Zach was talking about this, but I had some info, is the landing zone. They worked on, the state was bulldozing it and leveling it, and gonna put topsoil and grass,
How did that all come about?
who's been working on that though? 'Cause, I
the
mean,
state.
okay, do you have a contact, or is that just what somebody?
Dick Guy came in and gave me an update.
I have to email him and I try to talk to him, but, I mean, that's all great. But I got a hold of the National Guard, they needed expanded to be able to land helicopters there. So Dart can't even land there because it's so small. Like, that's, yeah, that's part of the issue, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
I don't know
I've
how-
been wanting to get up there to look at
He
it,
said they
but
were bulldozing it,
I'll talk to
gosh, I
Dick
can't
Guy.
remember if he came in today or yesterday, but
Alright,
it was today or yesterday.
I'll get his email. I
So
just haven't
something
had a chance.
happens and then it's not even big enough anyway, so, okay.
Well, I mean, that's the question, like, who did the state, I mean, I talked to the
Doubt
National
it.
Guard.
They're
aviation-
probably cleaning out ditches somewhere and they need a
No,
place.
you can't.
Oh, so they're not,
No,
they're not
you
doing
can't
that.
transport fill.
They're using what they're pulling off the top, he said, the high part to level out the low part.
Okay.
I need to get back up there then. I'll get a hold of Dick Guy, cause,
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay,
I can fill in more on what I learned later.
okay,
That is all I have.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry you got,
You jumped on me.
yeah, I know, okay. Zach.
What? Look at this. Oh my.
Okay, so assistant assessor, so Dorothy.
So, Barb was here, our district advisor, a week ago Monday. She spent like 4 hours with John and I working on pieces of the through Vermont side, getting us more familiar with what we need to do. I could spend an hour going over this, but basically.
That's okay.
We're working, I got some more pieces figured out today, we got one piece figured out yesterday. The state is kind of, here's Vermont pie, you're gonna work on it on Tuesday, but on Wednesday we'll give you the information that you need and we'll tell you that we're gonna fix it again next week. So that's kind of how this is all going.
Okay.
At this point, John and I are working towards being done by we got July 5th as our drop dead date. We will be done before then, and we're getting closer every day to being ready to print change appraisal notices, so.
Okay. So that's good.
It's good, it's all good, it's just very frustrating.
Okay.
Yes, 2 or 3 hours yesterday, trying to figure out this error message list that's all the current use. And when I talked to Nimmer today, it's like, oh yeah, we don't need that list. I'm gonna get rid of it next week. And it's like, I've spent 8 hours trying to figure out what the problem is. But anyway, it's coming.
Okay, good.
So, that's it. That's all my report. We'll get it done. It'll be in a timely manner.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you for not
That was a
taking-
good hour review.
I know. She condensed that hour down perfect.
That's what I like.
I know, Kristen, I'm trying to keep you happy.
Okay. Fire and fast.
R1 is being fixed.
Yes. Good.
Yeah. I don't think it's not back at the station now, but
Okay. Good.
Yep.
Finally.
finally.
And that's good.
Yeah.
And I think there's a PO in there.
There is. I
Yes,
already
it is.
signed it for $2,500. I think it was for something like that.
Yeah, sounds right. I thought it was 25, 28 somewhere near
Yeah.
what Chief said last night, so.
It is what it is.
Yep.
And we can get moving on with that. Do we need to talk more about this landing zone, or are we
We'll just
done
do
with that?
that. No, we can do it right now. So I'll fill in the pieces that I know and what I'm trying to do next.
Did you see how Dorothy did this? Don't you?
Yes, okay. 7 years ago. No, so I sent some emails out to some former classmates and colleagues in the National Guard. I got in contact with the National Guard's aviation safety officer. He is the one that will go out and certify for the National Guard's purposes landing zones throughout the state. He seemed very interested in exploring trying to utilize this for training otherwise.
Okay.
I came to the fire department meeting last week and discussed it with them. I talked with Chief Johnson a little bit, and there may be some ability, if we're able to do this right, to coordinate some additional training between the National Guard and our fire department potentially as well. Basically, he gave me the specifications on what they need to land a CH-47 Chinook helicopter out there, which is what they would use as the standard for what they need. And it's 180 feet or something. It's 60 something meters.
Yeah.
I want to say, is what I said. I can look it up. But anyway, at any rate, I want to look into it. I need to get a hold of Dick Guy and talk to him about who his contacts at the state
Which
are.
at the end of the day, it sounds like it's plainly just not big enough
Which, correct, and I don't even think it's big enough based off of
for DART.
what we looked at, it's not, part of that's because of its overgrowth, and again, I don't know what they've done out there.
Right.
If they're able to open it up a little bit, maybe for DART, but for the National Guard, they would want 180 feet of clearance.
Which they probably, I mean, as long as they know what to do, because they've been buying all this. I see the state's been chewing up trees on the interstate so they could actually
Yeah.
like clear it out better, hopefully.
So, yeah, we'll see what I can find out. I think that one of the biggest questions from the fire department is, if it's established as and meets the certifications to be a proper landing zone, who then is gonna maintain it? Is it gonna be the state that's gonna maintain that? Is it gonna be us? Who's that gonna be? So,
State.
again, those are the questions that need to be answered.
Right,
So
okay.
that, obviously it's a barrier for us if it gets to a point where, the state's gonna get it all set up, but then they're gonna want us to go out there and maintain it.
Okay.
So,
So that would be great if you're working on that, Zach, and figure out,
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna connect with Dick, and then I'm gonna talk with, this guy I know actually went to college with him. He said he would come out
okay,
and,
cool.
and potentially look at
Great.
it too, so maybe we can get all of the right people at the right place and talk it over, and maybe it'll meet, maybe we can figure that out. Otherwise, if not, the next steps would be, and the National Guard is willing to look at other sites that may be a potential for use.
Okay.
And he said he can send me a landowner permission form that they need to use those spaces. But, just south of there on the road, he pointed to something that's like, not even half a mile down. It's 100 feet or less into the woods, and there's a clearing on a property in there, so.
Okay,
There's other options too, so that's
good,
what I know.
all right.
So
Yes.
when he's here, when the National Guard is here, you might wanna have him look at the landing zone down here by Parks Landing. And
Okay.
just see what he thinks about that, because that's kind of the one we use in town a lot.
Yeah, I can look at that one too, yep. I can have him take a look at that.
And we've landed at Suffolk Field, and we've landed at South Reading Field,
Right,
so.
and I think those fields are,
Oh, good.
Puffer Field's probably big enough for landing, just my personal experience,
Yep.
it's big enough to land this Chinook.
Those are the ones that we currently use.
Right, Mark, you think?
Don't see one on.
I've seen them land in smaller spaces than that, but, anyway,
Okay, good,
yep,
excellent.
okay.
Nothing else on fire or bad?
No, I don't believe
Okay.
so.
Good, constable,
I sent, both you, Tristan, and you, Zach, the pictures of the garbage up on Glover Road, so we need to figure out, our next step on that. It's all picked up and all taken care of.
which are you up to, you know what the deal is with that, so, explain, just do it,
Yeah, so,
you gotta,
Sarah Dustin called me a week and a half ago, saying that there was some garbage dumped up there, and they had kind of looked around it a little bit and they found mail in it, so there's names and addresses, or one address in it, so we know whose garbage it is. So, just wanna figure out,
what the process is now, is where do we go with that, and how do we deal with it, I guess is what the next step is.
right,
Is it getting dumped up there regularly? Is that what we're thinking?
No,
Or is it just a one-time?
there's just one, I picked up 4 bags of garbage.
But somebody should be held accountable for
Yeah, I mean,
that.
it's $500 fine for littering, right?
Yeah, so who do we contact? Do we contact the sheriff's department? Do we,
I think
what's
that's the
the next?
initials. I think initially you'd start with the sheriff's department. That's what I
So
would.
that's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
when we're talking to the sheriff's department, we need to consult with them about
Yeah,
how to proceed with this. We have the pictures from the garbage and whose
Yeah.
names and all that, so how do we,
And hopefully, Mark being the town constable,
Right.
that's enough. You
Right.
know what I mean?
yep.
so, are you talking to the sheriff's department?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to give him a call tomorrow.
Zach, or
I've
do you
got his
want
email. I
me
can-
to, or whatever?
Yeah,
Okay,
Put that on Zach's shoulders.
I know. I'm just trying to,
what?
You put that on your shoulders too. You get like a 2-hour conversation with the sheriff's department. Yeah.
you taking the day off tomorrow?
He generally doesn't have that much time on the phone, but.
And I could do it,
He's
Zach,
usually
if
for-
you have plenty of stuff to do.
No, I mean, I think I'll just call and leave him a message like I did the last time and
Alright.
wait for him to call me back. 'cause
When he's got the time.
when he's got the
I
time.
mean, I went to school with him, I can
Okay.
ruffle
Well,
his feathers.
It's up to you.
You- I'm just saying. So if you want me to talk to him and lighten, do you have plenty to do? Or if you-
Tristan's got the inside.
Sure, you wanna talk?
Okay, I'll talk to him.
Okay.
And about the speed study too at the same
Yeah,
time.
see about getting that on the
Okay.
other side. Okay,
Yep.
I'll take care of that. Okay, what else?
So, and like Harry said, our unregistered dog list is way down from last year, so
It
that's
is.
great. And then, I guess need some guidance on what to do, what I need to do if a dog gets out, owner is actively looking for it.
Okay.
What
Well,
am I doing?
Who's got what, okay, well, you say the dog got out and the owner's looking for it, but somebody's complaining that the dog is on their property.
I have both parties here, and I don't know if now is the time to do that or at the end.
Yeah, might as well just, you guys good with that?
I'm not, yeah.
Okay.
That seems like it's a good spot. to do
If
it.
you do it, we're gonna go all the way.
Well,
I just wanna make sure everybody's gonna play by the same rules, that's it.
this is a board meeting,
Okay.
so we're not really making demands on how things are gonna go, but we are
Okay,
gonna
we'll play
run
it as it goes, all right?
the select board meeting and we are gonna listen and figure this out, right?
So that's
Like
what
I
we're gonna.
said, it'd be better probably if everybody would come to an agreement before we start this, like Mark. You wanna tell them why we have a problem?
Oh, the
Two things, right? Getting a hold of somebody, which was one of my first complaints.
Okay.
And I called you trying to get some kind of response. Well, I called Mark and we had trouble with his phone. Right? I have a landline, he doesn't. We couldn't communicate, which created another problem. He felt that, you know, the respect to the town to do the job came on the complaint. Mark?
So went down and we had told him to put the dog in his garage because if the dog is gone back when I get there, there's not really anything I can do.
Right.
And this happened.
Tuesday, last
No, I know this one, but the one before that was like a month before.
I'm not sure. I didn't,
Does that sound about right? About a month before. And so that first time, all the kids were out looking for Max, was it?
Yeah.
Was out looking for Max. And I went and talked to him and took Max out and gave him to the kids to bring back home. Or you came over. Katie came over, and she brought him back home. So the second time, Katie and her family already kind of figured where Max was. So they were just kind of waiting for me to get there. Katie called me on Messenger, so I was able to get more information. I know we had trouble talking because of my cell phone service. And I went down and I did the same thing, gave Max back to them. And both phone calls happened within a few minutes of each other. And I assume you called me as soon as he got into your garage, is that correct?
yeah.
Okay.
So, and this is all good, and he and
Right.
she and did, and this is what happened, and that's fine, but
Right.
at the end of the day, we need to figure out how to resolve this.
Right.
So that's what we need to come up with, some kind of a resignation,
A resolution.
solution to this problem, is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. So how are we gonna do that?
So, I mean, personally, I think we need to go right to, and that's what I've got on my phone, which is the town ordinance regulating dogs and wolf hybrids.
Okay?
And we need to follow
Okay.
what's laid out in the ordinance. That, I mean, we just reviewed this ordinance. We just signed off on this on, September 16th, 2021. And so, you know, there's a few things specifically around definitions. And, you know, it kind of comes down to what the situation, and it's every situation, right, Mark? You have to start with it, but, you know, we define, you know, a couple of things, including running, you know, animal at large or running at large, which is a dog that's not leashed. It's not in a vehicle. It's not on the owner's premise. It's on the premise with. It's not on the premise of another person with that person's permission, and it's clearly or not clearly under verbal or nonverbal control of its owner. So, I mean, we have to start there.
Right.
Right, so, you know, from there, you know, again, it comes back, that's where I would start.
Which is what it's saying is, at the end of the day, is if you own an animal, it either has to be on a leash or in control of the owner, or it needs to be in an area that is secure on their property, correct?
Correct.
Is what this is saying. You have to keep your animals on your property, or it has to be leash or in control of the owners of the animals. Is that happening?
For the most part, yes, my kids let the dog out.
Okay.
I can't be in control of him when he's locked in his garage. I can't call to him. You can't get through the door.
But,
It was 30 seconds.
oh, okay. So,
I'm just saying.
but this has been a continuous problem.
It
This
happened
just,
twice.
okay, so this is the first 2 times this has ever happened.
Well, the dog has been in the garage and then that I have been.
But the dog's been loose.
He's only been loose a couple times and I've been able to grab him before he goes.
Okay. So it was,
So two complaints
okay.
that I have gotten about dog getting out and running around.
Okay. All just recently.
Would have been Tuesday last week and then about a month prior to that, yes.
So, and I guess the next question is so with that being said, what have we done as far as, as far as assessing or enforcing the policy? Have we given warnings? Have we given fines? Have we done any of that yet?
I believe the first one was a fine, and then this most recent one, after talking to both parties, agreed that we should come here and try and discuss it and see if we can come to a resolution right here with everybody.
Okay. So my opinion is that there's a problem, right?
Yeah.
So the problem, in order to solve the problem, that the dog's gotta either be in a pen or it just can't run loose.
I have a chain for him. I don't just let him out. It's like if my kids open the door and he's in the house, he'll scoot by the kids. That's the only time it ever happens.
Okay, so then you'll go get the dog immediately and bring it back.
That's what I've been doing, but it's hard to go get him immediately when as soon as he's out. He lives like 30 feet from me.
Okay.
As soon as he's out, the dog's in his garage.
Okay, so how are we gonna resolve this?
Just let me grab the dog and it won't be a problem.
But if your dog was on your property, then
Right.
we wouldn't be having
But
this
we also wouldn't
discussion.
have a bunch of drama and everything if he would just allow me to go grab my dog and I bring it right back. As soon as the dog gets out, I'm on it and we're trying to grab him.
Okay, so what do you have to say?
You guys got the rules. I'm ready. All I want you to do is do what you put on paper.
We are doing what we put on paper, we're
If
trying
it
to
is,
resolve.
why are we still having the problem? Why is it my problem? I ain't leaving my property. My dog's on the leash. That's it. The dog comes to my house, comes in the mudroom because she knows my dog's got water and food right there. I never touched the dog. All I do is close the door. That's it.
Okay?
So
Yes.
find where the
Here's a
problem is
good
on
point.
my.
I mean, I've never seen him touch it, but I haven't seen him
Yeah.
not touch it.
And I'm not,
I can't say either way.
we're just trying to figure out a resolution for this problem. We're trying to run a town, so it's not
Right,
like
no, I
we're
get it.
dealing with this.
I'm 100% sure that my dog is the only one that doesn't ever slip out the door.
What do you guys think?
I mean, so this is where I'd start with, a complaint was made about
A
it.
complaint's gonna be made every time because he doesn't like me because I used to live there. So he's out to get me, no matter what I do.
So, and that's a civil matter, that's not between the board. What I will say is what it comes down to is, we have an ordinance. the way the ordinance is laid out, a complaint was filed. The constable, in my opinion, has substantiated that complaint. So we have to stick to the policy and the procedure. If we don't, we set a precedence for everybody else that has a complaint about a dog issue.
Right.
Moving forward. So, unfortunately, we have to stick with what the town ordinance says. So if if there's an issue between, two neighboring residents, the board can't fix that. That's between you guys. That's not between us. What it is for us to ensure that we're following policies that are set in place for public safety for the town. And so, in my eyes, we've got a complaint, we've substantiated it, and, that's where it sits.
Alright, so I guess my question is, am I bringing a dog to the town when the owner?
If the dog can't stay on the property, which is what we're discussing here, and in control of the owners, we have to follow the policy. And the policy is that eventually the dog will be taken away after you pay the fines and the whatever, and you have your warning, then the dog will get taken away.
I have a question. I got a 170-pound German Shepherd.
Okay?
I'm in an old trailer. He hits the door, it pops open.
Okay?
He runs around. He goes over to Dan Webster's, who's my brother-in-law.
Yep.
He goes to Jared's. He swims around in his pool. He has never, ever hurt, bit, or even growled at another human being.
But it doesn't
In fact,
matter.
everybody loves him.
But it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm just saying that.
So
The dog policy isn't invalid, so,
It's about every dog in this town.
it is.
correct.
But, Mark, how many times have you been to Wilson's house? Mark Wilson's. Typical example.
Twice? Only
That
twice.
big ass dog he's got, when he knocked down that 12-year-old kid down back, dog's still there. But, according to Mark, he never gets off the leash. He's always on a leash.
So if everybody can think of this as like your children, right? A dog is like your children, right? You take care of it and you make sure it's safe and stays close to you. It's the same idea.
Like I said, my dog is 170 pounds because he can't run.
But
He's a purebred German Shepherd.
I understand that. What I would say is what it comes down to is the way the policy is written. It's your responsibility to have control over your animal.
I do have control, even if he's on the next street. All I do is holler to him when I realize he's out, because we all work. When I get home, he's not in the house, and shit, he got out. Go outside, yell to him, he'll come running.
And as soon as another resident complains about a dog that's at large, that's running at large according to the policy, the constable is gonna come out, he's gonna investigate, and he's gonna substantiate whether the complaint was correct or not, and he's gonna issue fines.
A fine,
Or issue
and then
the
the dog will
warning
be taken.
fines. That's the way the policy's written.
It should be put on a case-by-case basis, not
So you do realize that we're trying to run the town here, not be on.
Well, I understand that. But we're also trying to run our family.
So, but this is what I would say, this is the way the policy is written out, this is the way we design the ordinance. That is what coming to us, if there's a warning filed, and you feel that the warning is unwarranted or not correct, you present that because we're the adjudicating body. Think of it like the constable gives you a warning, like a police officer gives you a ticket, and we're the judge. That's how that policy works. So you can come to us and you can say that this isn't correct, and this warning is not warranted. But again, I'm gonna ask, and this is how I handle these type of situations. I'm gonna ask, was there a violation of the ordinance? Was there a complaint? Was there a violation of the ordinance? And was it substantiated? If it's substantiated, then we have to stick with that.
We're not in violation of the ordinance. Because I know, I call my dog, he's people to come.
So
So it's not in violation of this
it's
ordinance.
laid out in here very specifically what is considered to be under control. Under verbal or nonverbal control. You know, again, if they're a half mile away and you can control your dog,
And your neighbors are all fine with your dog running over, I guess you don't have a problem, but when we get a complaint, then we have a problem. That's what happens.
then that's, and I mean, again, that's the way the process
The
is
only
laid out.
way that we can manage that is we have to have a set of rules, and they apply to everybody.
Or just whoever gets the complaint.
Correct. I'm not saying, you know what I mean? If you live here and you guys are all friends and the dogs run back and forth, I don't care, and either do they. Everybody's happy. It's when this person doesn't want this person's dog on their property.
I get complaints from my dogs barking that aren't even my dogs.
Well, I don't know, I can't.
Like, if any dog that barks
I
in
can't
town,
fix
he can hear it, he calls.
No, and we have problems with dogs barking and everything else too. But, so, and we're cracking down on this because this is a bigger and bigger problem. And
This has been not managed appropriately by the town of Groton for a very long time.
Right.
And that's why we have updated the policy, you know, almost 2 years ago now. And, you know, part of having Mark here is that we can take, I think, a stronger stance on making sure that these issues are dealt with as they should be dealt with in the ordinance. And again, you know, if there's a complaint that someone feels is unwarranted or unnecessary, that should be brought to us, the select board, for us to make a determination as to whether the constable took appropriate action in accordance with the ordinance set by the town. And that's equal across, that's why, Mark, how many people have you talked to in the last 3 months about getting their dogs licensed? You know, and, yeah, so last year, this time last year, we had, what, probably over 100 dogs that were still unlicensed in the town of Groton. Because we didn't enforce our policy, our ordinance. Here we are, we've got a constable that's actually putting in the legwork to do that and make sure that we're following our ordinance to a T. And we have 28 people that are on the list now that are gonna be dealt with in accordance with the ordinance. Because we have to follow the ordinance. We have to stick with this and make sure that we're taking care of the entire town. Because, and for this policy especially, it's for public safety. You know, we make sure that every dog's registered, because if somebody's dog isn't registered and their dog has rabies and they bite somebody could die. We have to, and that's a liability for public safety. That's part of the reason why this is here.
But the problem is right now is about a dog being on somebody else's property and causing a problem. So to resolve this,
I can't, it's a damn if I do damage.
well, I'm just saying, I'm sure that there could be, I don't know how to nicely say this, but I mean, if a dog gets out like once in a great while, oops, we had an accident, but when a dog gets out weekly, it's not really a oops anymore. Do you see what I'm saying?
It's been twice.
But twice?
I get it.
Okay. So,
I get it, it's just.
so you really have to, what I'm trying to say is really be careful because we have to follow this, because we have complaints.
How many reports in the town of Groton have been bitten by dogs, loose dogs?
I don't know,
How
we just
many
had
reports?
dog reports this year, you know.
We had one this year already.
You had one?
We had one this year.
friggin' rude, that dog is crazy.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, again, and it comes down, it's,
So if we so we're not, you know what I mean, we have a policy, that's the way it is, and I'm sorry, you know, we have to, this is what we have to do. And
Well,
it's nothing against anybody.
and it's not a matter of how many dogs have bit people, it's the risk that could happen.
Or respect.
You know, again, it's.
I
we have
can
to be
understand
prepared for
where you
that.
guys are coming from, but I think this ought to be done on a case by case basis.
Well, we don't have time to go look at every case.
So what I would say is it is, that's the way the policy's written, that's why we have a constable. Because when there's a complaint filed and somebody calls the town clerk and says, I have a complaint about this dog issue, that's what Mark's here.
Some
That's
guy
what he's
out
here to
there
do.
has a hair across his ass because he doesn't like me, and I get,
But if you keep your animal on your own property, you don't have to worry about it, it
no,
doesn't matter.
listen to me. Jim Downey used to come to my house at least once a month and complain about my dogs. Now, my old dog was 16 years old when she died. Never in her life ever bit anybody.
But it's not about biting.
No, it's about somebody making a false accusation about my dogs.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's
Jim
about
Downey
keeping
did.
your animal on your property. That's all this is about.
Jim Downey.
In control of you.
Jim Downey made a report that my dog came out from under a porch and bit him.
I don't know why we're having this
Okay.
discussion.
Because it's on case by case. It's not black and white. The dog that bit him was from the house down below.
Okay.
I watched it.
So what I'll say is, again, it is case by case, but it's a black and white ordinance. The ordinance is laid out, and the constable investigates and determines and substantiates whether a violation of the ordinance is in place. So again, that was passed. Now, if that same, and you felt that it was a false accusation, and you came to this board and said, there's no proof that this was my dog that bit this person, and we have no evidence to show that, we could say as a board, and that's in the ordinance, we can adjudicate that and say, we're gonna take that waiver away, we're gonna.
Seriously, how do you fight City Hall? Linda Nunn is the one who gave me the letter.
No,
Jim Downey swore to it.
But again, what it comes down to is, and this is why we're not the ones as a select board going out and reviewing these complaints, right? This is due process.
We're not
This
here.
is, I understand, but this is the due process that we've established, especially for this ordinance, because of instances like you're bringing up as an example from the past, exactly why we changed the ordinance 2 years ago, and it's the way it is now. But we have to follow this, and we have to utilize the ordinance that we've got, and the process that we're using is the proper process. So again, it's not fighting City Hall. If you get a complaint and you feel it was unjustified, and you come to the select board meeting and you say, I received this complaint and I believe it's unjustified, and we review the evidence, we can decide whether it was justified or not. That's the way the ordinance is laid out.
On a case-by-case basis.
Correct, on a case-by-case basis.
If you would like us to review that on a case-by-case basis, we will do that for you, and you and everybody else in the town.
Well, that's what we need to do.
That's
That's
what's
the
written
policy.
in the ordinance.
That's what's written in the ordinance.
Okay. So that's understood.
Okay.
So we're reviewing this. Your animals need to stay on your own properties.
And I would.
Then we won't be here.
Yeah. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I mean, we have to stick to this ordinance. And so I think in this instance especially, if the constable substantiated that the dog was at large, was running at large according to the ordinance, then, that substantiates the complaint. My opinion.
So did you get your answer, Mark? On
The
what-
long way, yes,
Okay.
I think so.
But now we want you to understand
Yeah.
what your next
Yeah.
steps are.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm good.
So, are you happy?
Well, your question was if the dog is there and they're right there looking for it, are you
Well,
to
yeah.
instantly take it and impound it, or let the
Right,
dog?
yeah, well, according to the ordinance, I would take it to the pound, but at the same time, that's also kind of a,
Well,
Not
is there a
necessarily.
before I
leniency
go
in
into
this?
that, the ordinance says, violations in an 8-month period will compile. So if the dog were to get out every 8 months, dog just goes
Yeah.
back to the owner.
And most of them are warning or impoundment.
Right.
And or.
Right.
So, again, our black and white ordinance kind
So-
of is it kind of great for you.
Well, so
Yeah, I mean,
it's-
it's your discretion, but,
But no, the first offenses are.
yeah, but when it comes down to it, sometimes your discretion.
Yep.
The ordinance lays it out as, basically a 3 strikes.
So,
Like,
do sure. Joel, all right, where do you stand?
Yeah, I just stay at my house. I don't do anything. Where do I stand? I was told when these dogs got loose, when we had trouble, if you could, catch them. So, caught him. Proved he was there, right? Now I know he's been at my house because I got it. And I was under the impression, I was told, there was no identification on the dog. Was there any tags on it?
No.
Yeah.
Why did that dog go back to the owner, not the town? You can't identify it other than it's been a problem in the past.
But they,
Why didn't it go to the town?
well, so I guess I'm asking for a little leniency way, you don't wanna have any, so if the dog got out once in a great while,
And it's been several times. I'm reported many a time they've been loose.
okay,
Short amount of time, just like you said. They're out there chasing. Doesn't matter. The dogs come to me.
okay,
I don't go to them.
and you don't want any of this, you don't want the
I
dog,
don't mind. This all
On your
started
property.
way back when we talked about the registration and vaccination of dogs.
right?
My complaint was, my dog's vaccinated.
Right.
Why aren't everybody else?
Okay,
Dogs are vaccinated.
okay,
Now,
is it, and it's
We've been
licensed?
vaccinated,
yeah,
yes.
Okay,
How
okay, so if that dog ends up on your property out of a oopsie, is that okay with you? Or you want no
it
dog
comes
that,
into my house.
okay,
It comes in my house.
okay,
So I don't mind it being on the property if we can conduct ourselves nicely. Mark was there.
okay.
I was
I'm
nothing but
trying
rolled
to
out the
find a
red
little
carpet.
thing here, because otherwise it's black and white. The dog, if it gets loose and it gets on his property, then it's gonna get taken away, is what I'm.
Right, I mean, I was,
That's what I'm trying to come up.
it was like, Mom, the dog got out, I went outside. I thought it went up the road, because there's two little dogs up the road that
And
he plays with, but
Dusha
I found out
is
and
saying
dog-
he doesn't want the dog there at all.
I
If
don't
it
want the dog
happens,
there at
okay,
all.
so
so it's not like I tried to.
it's either gonna be
purposely-
penned up, it's gotta be chained, and when it's loose, you guys are gonna have to be really careful. That's the answer I have for this situation.
Well, there's two dogs. I
Okay.
don't know where the other one went.
What?
I have
Another littler one, same thing, a littler one.
I have two puppies that are 4 months old,
Oh, okay, so I think
but
I've
they're
been,
never over there.
I think I've been clear, right? Do we all understand what we need to do? And I don't say it's fair or not fair, but that's how it is.
I'm good.
And if it doesn't happen, then Mark's gonna get called, and then Mark's gonna come and get the dog and whatever. So we're trying to avoid that from happening, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I get it.
Okay.
I'll explain to my 5-year-old who can't open the door. I'm
You
trying.
do what you have to do. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just
No, I get it.
laying it out so it's clear.
And I mean, and 10 times this would not even be a problem if people could be adults and just be like, hey, your dog's here.
I understand, but this situation is different. So it can't go like that. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, so, was that it on Constable? Okay,
All set.
good, thank you. Was there anything on library?
Music in the Park is Friday night,
Yes.
Was that 5:30?
6, I believe. 6:30.
You show up at 5:30 though.
Which, do we wanna cover? Steve and did trimming,
Sure.
and it looks
There's a
great.
paper in there that.
I got it right
that-
here somewhere. I had it. I don't know what I do.
You got all the papers.
Select board branches, the ones that we, so, Ben, Ben's supposed to be doing stuff for the town when we need maintenance done, whatever, but we've been struggling and he's super busy, so Steve had offered that he could do maintenance and stuff, so we had Steve do some stuff in the park and some tree stuff, which I don't know if you saw that, Aaron, or not.
No.
Okay,
Yep, that sounds fine.
okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, did we need to do anything cause Steve's got some hours in and cleaning the park up for cutting the trees that were down over the thing and this and that. What do we need for that?
Just to approve hiring him or appointing
approve
him, however
hiring
you wanna do it. You wanna
Steve to do work
As a maintenance personnel.
as a maintenance purpose for the town. So,
We appointed.
appoint it?
Yes.
So I'll send him a letter and
Yep,
we'll go
Yep.
that route.
good,
Yep.
Okay,
okay. Do you have connections where you can get the letter to him?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, great.
Save a stamp.
Save us a stamp.
Save a stamp.
All right, which is awesome, which is good, which we still are working on, the screens on those lights. Is that anything that he might be able to?
Well, he'll need a partner, cause it's definitely a
That
two-person
is
job.
definitely-
I
Just
know,
getting
I'm
that
just
ladder.
trying to think, we really need to get that
Right.
taken care of, cause it's a safety concern.
I talked to him about it, but he definitely needs somebody to do it with.
Okay, well,
Because he can't get that ladder down by himself, for one.
No, and you need somebody at the
I
bottom
mean,
of that ladder.
It's
Yeah.
so tall.
okay. So anyway, something to think about, I
Yeah.
guess, cause we still are waiting for,
I emailed Ben and Frank and,
okay,
so, wait another week and then see what happens.
Gotta
okay.
get it done before basketball season.
I know, I just, yeah. Okay,
Okay, great.
zoning administration, do we,
Oh, wait a sec, I think I have a couple things under maintenance.
okay,
Well,
well, we haven't
We're
got
not
to
on there
maintenance
yet.
yet.
Oh, we're not there.
We're
Okay,
gonna-
I'm sorry.
are we
Yeah.
done with the library?
We're done with library,
We're done with
okay.
library.
Is Mark, are you coming to help her?
There's an event at the library.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Friday.
I didn't
Nice.
get an email about it. I
I think, they're asking you to help with cones and possibly traffic Friday night. But we think that the event isn't gonna be in the park because it's supposed to be raining. It might be in the
don't
gym,
know. In the gym.
but something, Mark should be around.
But you never,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
right,
I
okay,
don't know.
okay.
But
Are you
that's-
available, Mark, to help out with that? You are now.
Tomorrow?
Friday.
No, Friday.
If not, Tristan will know.
I don't think so.
There is no way. Not that I don't want to,
No, it's just.
I won't be here.
Well, they'll figure something out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have cones.
Okay,
Sarah will take the cones.
All right,
Just was
good.
next. Okay.
zoning administrator, do we have anything from Dan?
It's kinda quiet with all that.
Okay,
Nothing I can think of.
okay. Health officer,
Quiet too.
good. Maintenance, tree removal,
Gym lights. Lisa does have maintenance stuff.
Okay,
which we
yeah.
did talk about that.
So, the town mowing, Aaron popped in yesterday, and we already talked about this, but, there's an, on Powder Spring Road, there's an area near Dave Sandville's house that got missed being mowed.
Okay,
And I pulled out the description of what we presented to townwide mowing areas, and it's not there.
okay,
So, Chris, our mower, mowed it, cause Dave Sanville went over and spoke to him. He
Okay.
wasn't aware, he mowed it, and then he emailed me and said he wasn't aware, and so
okay,
I said, okay, I see it's not on the list, so he's probably gonna charge that extra rate that he has for doing extra.
okay.
So I just wanted that out there, that we didn't have it.
So I
Right.
guess I don't understand, I don't, but there's some piece of
I
land the
don't
town
know.
owns by
I
Dave
guess, I
Sandville?
don't drive that way, so.
Yep.
How is this?
Aaron, can you explain the area, or?
It's right beside Dave Sandville's house and the snowmobile trail. There's a section of grass.
In
that-
front of his fence?
To the side.
Yeah, to
Between
the
his
side of the
house and
fence.
railroad.
Where it cuts through the woods right
Yep,
there, right?
yep, yep. So right beside his fence, there's a piece of grass that he wants the town to mow.
Okay,
So-
oh, okay.
So we
Is it
will.
town land?
It must be.
Yes.
It must be.
How did,
You can check in on that, Dorothy, and double check
how did
on
we end
that,
up
but
with
I
a piece of
believe-
town land?
because-
Does it connect to something else?
You used to have it, you guys made some kind of deal with it when you guys gave him land for his property, because it's where the depot.
Yeah.
Depot usually is just what the depot is, everything else is railroad. It was quite a little event, actually it took, I think, a couple of years.
Oh, I remember discussing
But anyway, I think it was
It's part of
his, originally, you guys made some kind of deal to keep the snowmobile trail.
Okay. Dorothy, you'll look into that?
I will. Come on.
Okay, Green Mountain Power I called in the light pole that was flashing.
Yep.
And then a few days later, we saw 2 trucks pulling in
It's
and
not
looking
flashing
at it. Okay. they said they were gonna call me back, and they usually do with a resolution. I have not gotten that phone call.
drove through the other night, it was flashing.
Yeah, so Harold said it was
It
flashing
was
the other
flashing
day.
like last weekend.
So it flashes sometimes and it doesn't flash
Yeah.
other times, cause I
Yeah.
drove by one night and it wasn't flashing. I said,
Okay.
oh, it got
Are you,
fixed.
are you looking like this though?
And
So-
speaking of Green Mountain Power, when they come to do that, which they are super busy, cause I talked to Emil about
Oh.
the pole,
Uh-huh.
and they're the ones that need to remove the pole.
Green Mountain Power,
Yes.
okay.
They
Oh,
can't,
not
no,
Fairpoint.
Fairpoint,
Oh,
no.
okay,
So
I
he
was
said
told
Green Mountain
differently.
Power has to do it.
okay, I was told
And-
differently.
Yep, so,
Hello?
And the chimney cleaning repair is completed.
Great.
So that, PO is in there to finish paying.
Yep.
We gave a
Okay.
deposit.
Yep.
So that's it for maintenance, thank you.
okay, good, thanks. Planning Commission, and anything, who,
IT, we skipped IT.
oh, IT,
Gary Kamen's doing,
He's gonna be
He's
ordering the
ordering
computers,
new-
and then the library's chiming in and getting some, but that will come out of their budget.
Yep, yep.
So he's doing a big order, so it's happening,
okay, good,
good.
That's great.
thank you.
How many computers were those library?
Three, and then they're getting one and a laptop.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, good.
Excellent.
Now can I go to Planning Commission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to speed things up here.
Just skip every
Planning.
other one.
Planning, do we have anything from Planning Commission? No?
And the hazard mitigation plan kind of comes out of that, but
NEK for
We already covered
CUD, we already did that,
Covered
so
all
we're
that.
done on
We're
that,
done.
right? Infrastructure project updates, where are we on that?
I have a couple things. June sixth, Nate was here and did another survey on Mill Street. And, Nate is reaching out to Gavin
Good luck.
again for the easements about the property owners on Mill Street. And when Nate did his survey, he realized that it's just Consolidated that has to get we have to get an easement from. It's not the other.
Because they're all on the right of way, right?
well, because he realized we own the tractor garage,
Yeah, he
and
didn't
now it can
realize
go
that.
straight
Oh,
down.
yeah, okay. Good,
That property doesn't go very far past the building.
Well, then
I'm not
it'll
out
just be
there
an
measuring,
easement.
I don't know. I just
Then it'll
know.
just be an
Saying
easement
that
there.
lot is just a little plot.
Alright.
So he's saying the only one we really need an easement for is Consolidated.
Consolidated.
There's a vineyard. Okay.
Nate said he's seeing the construction costs are going down, so this may benefit us in the long run by
Good.
having it go to the next year,
okay,
so. There's been a few back and forth, but it's basically the same. I got the email that he sent to, I think you did too, Zach, possibly.
Yeah, the Jorge.
That so, the historic wall, we're avoiding that, and Nate reached out to Gavin about the easements. So I even said to Nate stopped in, and I said, yeah, I think a letter should be sent to the owners on Mill Street, just consideration that this is happening.
Yeah.
So, that's all I have.
okay, good, thank you. Town policy review, which we already kind of discussed that, didn't
Yeah.
we, about? Okay, so open to the public and other business. I already did the thing. So,
I have a couple more things. We had the town yard sale and the library book sale. We had 6 individual tables. Jazzy Foundation had a couple tables and quite a bit in the parking lot. The library, I think was doing well. I kept seeing people leaving with armloads. So I think overall it was a good day. And the other thing with the community letter, the Zach, that we sent about the fall foliage, we have no responses.
I've gotten,
Oh, you've gotten some. Okay, Mary and Sarah and
I saw those.
but
Yeah.
that's it.
Somebody from Reigate reached out to me
Oh,
and said for fall foliage, they saw or heard about the letter for the
Good.
BMU band and said they were interested from a Reigate perspective to be a part of it. So
okay, good,
I told them when we schedule a meeting, I'll include
All right.
that. So.
okay,
great.
great.
good. Okay, moving on. Town owned speed sign, we already discussed that, about the speed study. Fire alarms, anything more, Aaron?
I haven't done anything more on that.
Okay, CO alarm, did that get fixed and done?
That's in.
Okay, I
good.
saw it gone, but
Yeah,
I thought you.
So that
okay.
could be removed?
Yep.
Okay, good. Set agenda for the next meeting, which we pretty much had already,
Which is
Yeah.
July 12th.
July 12th.
Oh, July 12th,
Um,
yeah.
We can add it when we get ready to publish it, but it may be worthwhile, especially with the policies we're reviewing, to potentially have an executive session for
Oh,
those
for
policy review.
personnel.
For personnel, for
Yeah,
the
okay.
policy review, so just to put a bug in
Heads up.
your ear on that one.
And,
Otherwise, it should be about the same.
yeah, I think so. Yep, we're just following up on some things. Okay, good. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Alright,
Aye, okay. We have a bunch of stuff to sign.
why don't you just sign